So Beth and I are Mickaboo volunteers, and we've been involved with Mickaboo for, I guess, 7 years now, since almost 7 years, early 2015. And I'm going to let Beth take the introduction here after saying that Beth came to me saying, there's this woman whose parrots are using tablets and they're doing this amazing stuff, and I want to learn more about it. And so with that, I will hand the story over to you.
All righty. Let me just take a look. Let me first tell a little bit about Parrot Kindergarten and what we're doing. We're not the geniuses who thought it up, sadly, but we are sure having a wonderful time. When I was younger, I always wanted to be Diane Fossey, or one of these people who went off and studied animal communication and had a dream of it. But then by the time I got to college and life, I ended up saying, no, I'm just doing psychology. It's easier. So I did that. But I've always had this love of learning about animal communication. And so I knew about the gorilla Coco, who lived nearby, and he used a board to communicate since he couldn't form the words himself, and he was able to learn a whole lot. Well, about a year ago, I just had it pop up on my Facebook feed that it was a year ago when I first saw this thing about parrots learning to use tablets and iPads and things. And I was like, wow, this is pretty crazy and pretty interesting. So I followed it. Fast forward to a year ago, to last April, when Jen Kuna and her partner, they call him Invisible Joe. Jonathan, do you remember his last name?
Invisible Joe. Yeah,
okay, because he's always the techie person behind the scenes. So Invisible Joe and Jen Kuna, who are lawyers of all things. So I'm going to switch to Ellie. Jen's bird, Ellie, is a cockatoo, a Goffins. She's a really sweet bird now, but when they first had her, Ellie was aggressive. She ripped her feathers apart. She was always screaming.
Ellie was a walking meltdown.
Yeah, Ellie was a meltdown, and nothing they could do could figure it out. And I mean, they did all the normal stuff that we all have done when we have had birds like that. And I looked at Lupron, they looked at this, they looked at that, medical, behavioral, everything. And it didn't really stop until Jen happened on the idea to maybe teach her how to more vocabulary and how to do things.
How to communicate her needs.
How to meet her needs. Yeah, go ahead.
And this really, three things. One, as Beth said, this isn't about us and us being like crazy ahead of the curve. And there are people at Mickaboo who say, well, you guys have grays, so of course they're brilliant. And it's not about the grays, because it's cockatoos and parrotlets and teals and senegals and macaws, and all sorts of birds are.
I hadn't gotten there, love. We have to finish Ellie.
Yeah.
Jen started working with basically nursery school level materials to teach Ellie things, and Ellie changed. Ellie is an amazing bird she plays cards. She asks for her favorite symphony. She even asks for tea. Well, how the heck? And she no longer plucks. She no longer screams. Well, how do we get from there to here? So I wanted to, before we start talking in detail, I wanted to run through some basic terms so that as we go, you'll know what they mean. So what we have learned how to do that makes a huge difference is preference training. And what that is that you teach your birds how to say yes and no and what those mean.
And what they like and what they don't like.
And also what is favorite, which is favorite. So they learn, we can say to them, okay, here we go. This is the pyramid. I'll talk about that just in a second. But which is favorite is basically you hand two things out and you say which you want. So you can ask your bird, which toy do you want? Which is your favorite? And they can choose. yes, no training. Did you like that meal? Would you like this? And they can say yes or no. It has increased our ability to communicate 1,000-fold. It's amazing. Did Jonathan pop the learning pyramid up here? And
so environmental control is basically that. Do you like this? Would you prefer this toy or this toy? What's your favorite treat? This or this? Or as we get farther along, would you like to read a book or would you like to play on the tablet? And all of that is preference. Getting up to trust building and then learning skills. Learning to use a tablet is a set of skills we'll talk about more. And then basic concepts, shapes, colors, weather, trees, animals, all that sorts of things, and even getting up as far as reading and writing.
which is where Ellie is at. And also some of her other, she has 3 cockatoos now. Where our birds tend to fall, because we've only been doing this since April, is between 3 and 4. The 4 is the bird we've had the least amount of time, Lou, who had a really stressful, almost dying when we finally got him. There's a whole Mickaboo story. I'm not going to go through it all. It's just a tearjerker, but he's still doing the trust. Do I trust that if I touch the screen, you will really give me a treat? Do I want to be near you? We'll show some of that on video in a little bit. Do you want to do that right now, Bibbs, or just wait till I go through this?
Let's just wait a little bit.
Okay.
I'll add though that with a couple of our birds, we have seen so much growth and so much increase in well-being and happiness.
Oh my God.
And Lou is really one of the two, and he's like the poster child for this. Lou's confidence and comfort level is so much higher since we started doing this work. It's amazing.
Yes, Sarah, you're right. It does in a lot of ways. We had people to lean on, but Jen was definitely trying to figure out what to do, and it did. Okay, so learning skills and child level concepts is where the rest of the birds are at. And this is when it starts getting really fun. You'll see videos later, and we're also going to do some live stuff of the different birds who play music, who play drawing, who are tracing to learn how to make letters. I'm so excited by this material. I can't even begin to say how exciting it is. So I'm going to talk about the Commboard briefly, because I want you to know what it is. Do you have a picture of the Commboard screen, babe?
I'm going to do better than that.
You're going to show the Commboard.
To show the Commboard.
What Commboard stands for Communications Board. And that's what was used with Coco, the gorilla, to learn to speak. And he learned 300 or 400 words and was able to have conversations. It's used for people who, for some reason, can't learn verbal language. Sometimes autistic kids use it. Commboard provides them a way to say, I want a treat. I want this, or what would you like to play, Cookie? And then he can click on the game, the name of the little icon for the game.
Okay, so this is the Commboard.
Little bit back up, it's too close. Not that far, perfect.
So
we have,
Cookie can select under treats.
there's 3 treats listed.
A nut,
he can touch them.
Or a seed.
Can you touch one so they hear it? Okay, it's very soft, but it says nut when you touch it. So it literally can become a verbal response. Yeah, we can't hear it. It's okay. Wait, where's my outline? Okay, so basically what Jen has done is put together a school where we go to school and we have lessons that we can progress on our own, which all take about 2 to 5 minutes to watch and 2 to 5 minutes to do a couple times a week. That's all this takes. It takes stamina when you're trying to teach them to use the tablet, because pressure touches, which is what we call when they actually get enough pressure that the instrument responds, are sometimes a little bit difficult to do. But once they've got it, that's the key and the world opens up.
So
yes, Heidi, it is an app you can get for the iPad and for the Galaxy is what we use with these guys.
Android, yes.
Yeah, but you can do it on iPad, and both the Commboard is available for both.
And although we use the word pressure touch, it's kind of a misnomer. But the tablet, if you try to touch a touch screen with your fingernail, it doesn't work. You have to use your finger. You try it with gloves, it doesn't work. And so touching it with their beak generally doesn't work. They have to use their tongue. So that's a skill they need to learn. And we have a video of little Lou learning to do that. Do you want to show that now?
Yes, let's do that one now.
Okay, so there we go. So we just have to find the right video of little Lou.
Nope.
That's the one. So
I can tell.
Okay, touch.
Watch his tongue. See how he sticks his tongue out?
Yes.
Hey, you got it
Good
too.
touch.
That's what they have to do. They have to stick their tongue out and touch it with their tongue.
You can smell the popcorn.
Touch
Yep,
apple.
that's me.
Touch. Huh? Good. Yeah.
So what you just saw, you heard me say touch apple. So that's also not only learning the physical skill of touching, but to identify the symbol that means a particular thing. So that was that.
All right. So what we do in our lives now is we have basically a three-prong kind of approach to working with the birds. One is reinforcing those physical skills on how to touch the tablet. And we've got Big Lou, who's still a little rough with it, but he can do it. Oh, he heard me and he just said something. We have Cookie and Little Lou, who are able to just kind of stick their tongue out and do lines and try to, it's basically the first steps to learning to trace letters. And we'll show you some of that later, I think, if Cookie is willing to do so.
Someone asked about the name of the app. The app is called, if you search for Commboard, C-O-M-M-B-O-A-R-D.
Yes. Yeah, they just put it in chat. That's the app. I think it's $14.99 or something, and there's a free version.
But you want the pro version if you do this.
Yeah, if you decide to do this. Okay. So we started basically with important skills, which they need to know is how to touch. And so we did a lot of that work. And do we have Lou getting used to it and Cookie? Oh, we're going to do the dot later. I'm ready to move into your stuff anytime.
Okay, before getting to the Commboard, there are a couple of basic skills. Beth talked about preference training. That is, do you like this or do you like that? That goes into yes and no. And so we can ask our birds, do you want this toy? Yes or no. Should I put it here in your cage? No. Should I put it here in your cage? Yes. And they'll select that. That's huge. I mean, just that has opened up so much. And as we get into those conversation topics, so for example, we have two dogs. Is Beth a dog? No. Is Beth a human? Yes. Is Cookie a bird? Yes.
And this is where we first learned that they have real verbal humor because Jonathan and Cookie have for years had this joke where Jonathan's in the kitchen and says, "Are you there, kitty?" And Cookie meows. So Jonathan asked who everybody was, is Beth a human? Is this, Cookie said, Jonathan said, "Is Daddy a bird?" And Cookie said, "Yes." And then he went and giggled. Then he answered it right the next time, but it was so funny. They're blossoming in ways we have not, we could never foresee.
And they can put concepts together. So is Otto a little dog? No. Otto happens to weigh 110 pounds. That's correct. Is Sabrina a little dog? Yes. Is Otto big? Is Lou big? Is Lou little? So they're getting at concepts of little and big, different species. their ability to discriminate between things is really cool. And that is another skill. So we started really with colors and shapes. This is green, touch green, touch green, touch green. Of course, there are treats involved. Treats are really good. I like treats. Touch green, treat. So now let's introduce another color. Touch red, touch red, touch red. Now, touch green or touch red, which is which. So now we're discriminating. And they start doing this with colors, and that generalizes. So that's really the same skill as, are these the same or different? They're different. Are they, or the word we use is match. Are they a match? Are these a match? Yes. They're a match. Guess what? That's the beginning of playing Go Fish with your birds. And
which
that's
we have done.
That's kind of fun.
So I want to answer, there's two questions here. Do the birds learn at different rates, and which of the birds is or was the fastest? Is the faster learning bird as quick in other areas that require a capacity for abstract thought? Well, this is an interesting story because up till doing this, Cookie was clearly way ahead, the smartest bird in our family. But we didn't know. I mean, Lou was suffering and trying to get used to being in a good, healthy family. And little Lou was just all over. He liked to spin and do tricks. And then Molly was the non-speaking. I mean, you may have heard of us talk about her before. She never spoke. She didn't say a word. I mean, she would say a word like water, and that's it for a year. So Cookie, who had been we started Molly on this, and she likes to have books read to her. And we'll show you that in a video later. But
Molly, I'm sorry.
But she's amazing. She will ask for what she wants using the Commboard. She will learn really fast. She's really obstinate about what she wants. If she says she wants a book and you try the Commboard, she won't have any of it. She'll just stand there staring at you. So the answer is they do learn at different rates. Who is the fastest? Possibly Molly. Cookie and Molly were in a race.
Cookie, Molly, and so they learn differently. Molly loves to read, as Beth was saying, and Molly has just lit up like a Christmas tree since we started doing this. And Molly, just like a toddler, can touch the man, touch the sheep, touch the boat, touch the words. She now recognizes what the words are on the page. It's amazing. Little Lou, being a Senegal, is very fast. So things that, if you do a bunch of random things, you might get the right one. He's really, really good at that. And then if you reinforce that right one, he'll do more of it. Cookie, who's a gray, thinks things through and wants to get it right from the beginning. So he's a more methodical learner, but in certain areas that goes really fast. So certain times one or the other is faster. You talked about, can little birds do this?
Yes.
Oh,
yes. Shall we just share Chili?
That's exactly where we're going.
Okay, Chili is a parrotlet. Can little birds do this? This is Chili. He's a parrotlet who lives in Ireland.
Chili is less than 40 grams, people. He is 1/5 the size of a Senegal.
Wait, can I have you start with the other one first? I have a good reason for it.
Let's see. Give me just a second to open that one.
Okay, so one of the things we've been doing lately is teaching them about what the different emotion words mean. So happy and excited. And Chili is just starting to make pressure touches on the iPad. I mean, on the tablet. He hasn't gotten very far because until now he hasn't really weighed enough. So he's learning to read.
Oh, yes.
He's happy.
This is Tori, his human.
Excited. Good. Very good.
We start by teaching the words themselves, just by themselves.
Excited.
We try not to lead with the questions.
Happy. Which one's happy? Good boy.
It's probably difficult to do it perfectly, but we're not researchers, we're parents.
So you can see that Chili, is a tiny bird who's very successfully doing this. Here he is playing dominoes.
Okay, literally.
And being a little bird, he's so excited.
He's so cute. He loves this.
Do you want to do your dinosaur? Yeah. Oh.
Very emphatic,
Oh,
yes.
you treat yourself. Oh. Yes. Okay. Thought you were going to say no then. How do you feel? Excited? Wow. How do you feel?
So this is further on in the process. He knows what it feels like.
Do you feel excited? Yes, you do. That's good.
Different ways to reinforce.
Good job. So we've got some pterodactyls. Okay. Some of them.
Dinosaur dominoes, gotta love it.
So let's recap quickly. This is a match. Yeah, it's a match. Is it a match? Is it a match? Yes, it's a match. Good boy. So that can go there, look. Okay. Is this one a match? Is it a match? Is it? Is it a match? Yes. So we'll
So
put that one there.
So yeah, that's good.
Chili is playing dominoes with his person. That's pretty cool. So as I said, we started with, identify colors, identify matches. On the tablet, as we're getting them to do pressure touches, and again, the parrot we really don't want this to sound like an ad for Parrot Kindergarten, right? But it is such an amazing resource, and we really have to give credit where credit is due. So we start by taking a paint program and putting a big dot on the board and say,
Okay,
touch.
wait, baby, can I just answer one more question?
Yes, please.
Or two more questions. We have all species represented. The Jen's birds are cockatoos, so we have a lot of cockatoos and only a few grays, but we have a lot of budgies and cockatiels, and we have the parrotlets, and they all are learning equally fast. The grays are not the smartest of birds, they all are. And then there was one other one. Are there lesson plans to follow? Yes. Yes, I wouldn't have been able to do it without that. We can look at these 4-minute videos and then we go and do it with the birds. And yes, Debbie mentioned about reinforcers. There are 2 levels of reinforcers. There's the hit the jackpot, which for many of them is a pistachio. And then there's little teeny sunflower seeds for the basic one. So they always get treats. They always are rewarded, but they also have the special treat that says, this is what we want. So shape your behavior that way.
And
over time, yes, the goal is, which I didn't mention in the intro, is that the long-term goal of all this is that they can play on the tablet without having any direction, and except for maybe us sitting in the same room as them. It's happening for Jen's birds, and it's starting to happen for ours too.
So it gets to be self-reinforcing, but honestly, like when I was a kid and took piano lessons, they were not self-reinforcing. I will tell you that. I'm the first to say I'm a musician today. It became self-reinforcing, but it certainly wasn't in the early learning. Where can you, is there a group for support? Where can you find lesson plans? All of this is through a site called Parrot Kindergarten, and there is a Facebook group. There's a super supportive community of people doing this.
There is a cost for there's the main small specialty group that we're in, there's a fee for, but there's also the free Facebook list where people are just doing this because and there's also an intermediate level from free to the more expensive, or you can come to some of the classes, attend some of the things that we have. A Cassie Molina, who is a trainer in Florida and has worked with birds for many, many years, 20, 30 years.
So I want to show another video of our birds talking about how we get from this to the tablet. And in this case, this is a fairly sophisticated game Cookie's playing. This is one of his first times playing it. And you can see on the screen, I'll try to make this bigger. There's a red dot. This is a 3-part game. First, you kind of connect the dots to get the outline of a picture. And you do that by touching these red dots. And once you've connected the dots, then there's the picture in place, and you paint the picture just by sort of running your finger, or in his case, his tongue, over the picture. And then it pops apart into a puzzle, and they have to put the puzzle pieces back together. He is really at phase 2 of this game, of doing the connect the dots and the picture. But you'll see that I start him with remembering to touch red, because that's the key skill for this part.
Touch red. Good. That's right. That's what we're going to start with. Okay. Touch red. Good. Good. Yes, that was it. Touch red. Good. 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 Wow, that was 4 in a row. Good job. Hey, where's red? It's down there. You see? Good. Good. Yes. Good job.
So now we have our little shape that you can color in.
Color? Good. Now we color it in. Wow, good job.
So this is how, recognizing color goes into playing simple games and puzzle games and other tablet skills. While we're here, I want to show a little bit of where this can go. This is Isabel, who is one of Jen's cockatoos. Jen is taking part in some research experiments now. She was doing this on her own. She is not a scientist by training, but there are a number of scientists and researchers who now want to work with her and her birds. So this is a more blind set of word recognition, with Isabel recognizing some pretty big words. And the first phase that I see in word recognition is words that start with different levels, right? Cat is easy to recognize from dog just by looking at the first letter. But here there's similarities and they're big words. So we'll just watch for a minute.
Objection. Are you ready? Objection. Objection.
Yes. Ministry.
Ministry. Ministry. Ministry.
Yes.
Mom.
Refusal.
Refusal. Refusal. Refusal.
Correct.
So this is pretty amazing. The other piece from Jen's birds that I love to share, she has done emotions training with her birds. We're still a little ways from doing that. We're doing the very rudimentary beginnings. But her birds can tell her if they are happy or sad or mad or excited. And in this case, well, I'll let Jen tell the story.
So Ellie was playing her tracing game, and I thought, because she'd done a couple of them, maybe she'd want to do something else instead. So I popped her back into the Commboard to see what else she wanted to do. And instead, I got an earful.
Mad.
What's up?
Mad. Mad. No lie. Mad. Mad.
What do you want?
Tracing.
Okay, here you go.
So back to tracing. And this is a hard one.
She's following a spiral here. But the point there is that, you know, we, well-meaning human, thought, oh, she's done plenty of this, she'll probably want to do something else. And Ellie had a very strong opinion. No, I was not done tracing yet. Yeah, someone said, wow, that's
Yep. Yep.
really, really wow. Let's see, just one more with, actually two more with our birds. And then we're gonna try to go live, and I'm glad people are asking questions as we go.
Yeah, that works well for us.
Once again, yeah, we've raised children, so we're used to being interrupted.
Oh, this is beautiful. And it's Jonathan and I are quirky. And so you'll have to notice the book title because we're
Molly,
silly.
one of Molly's favorite books is called
Good night.
Good Night, Cthulhu. Yes.
The man touched them. Good. That's the man. Good. Now, where's the house? Touch the house. Good. That's the house. Touch Cthulhu. Good, Molly. There's Cthulhu, the eater of souls. What a good girl.
So Molly loves being read to and loves doing this stuff, and she'll select which books she likes. This is a favorite. There's a series of pigeon books. The Pigeon Has Feelings Too is one of her current favorites. The other thing, talking about independent play a little bit, Little Lou, who one of our, where is it? Did I lose that? Oh, no, there it is. It's gotten the alias LL Cool Burb from one of our parrot kindergarten friends, and he loves to play this music game. This is Make Music.
Good. Good.
So you can see here, he doesn't get treated that often.
Good job.
And
He's so cute.
he's a cute bird. So I think what we'd like to do, I'll talk a little bit. Beth, if you want to set the camera up and we can spotlight it. Obviously, this depends on whether they are interested in playing, so to speak. A couple of questions. Do the birds know the meaning of bigger words like refusal and ministry? So that was Jen's birds. I suspect that they don't, but they've got a pretty big vocabulary. So just like with teaching anyone to read, so to speak, there's a level of being able to read and see what the word is, and then there's understanding the words. But they've got pretty big vocabularies and abstract concepts. Like I said, it was just a couple of weeks ago that I first asked, we've established, is Otto a dog, yes or no? Is Otto a little dog? Well, or is Otto a little bird? No, he's not a little bird. Is he a little dog? No, he's not a little dog. Is he a big dog? Yes, he is a big dog. And talking about different birds and different learning styles, Molly gets really ticked off if I ask her trick questions like, is Otto a bird? And you'll notice that the no has got a couple of bite marks on it because she'll grab it. The other birds kind of think that they're funny to have those questions. Debbie raises a point. People with autism may read but not understand meaning. That's right. The emotions training, which we're just starting, we're going with just a small group of emotions, and the idea is that you, rather than just putting a label on the bird, right? Because we really try in training, we try to be observation based and not labels. Not my bird bit me because he's angry that I played punk music instead of, Beethoven, but my bird bit me when he was on top of his cage and I moved my hand in quickly or something like that, right? So then ascribing emotions is kind of away from that, except that what we do is, Beth and I are spending a couple of weeks saying, what does what we think excited is look like on the birds? With Cookie, his wings are out a little bit. There's a certain way that his feathers are. How does that look that's different than happy, right? So yeah, what does excited look like? What does happy look like? And that looks different for the different birds. It's pretty, and then what does afraid look like? What does mad look like? And with all of these things, like with preference training, do you like this? Do you not like this? Like is easy, but do you not like this? You start with something very neutral, right? You don't show them something scary that's like, oh no, I don't like that, because at least with a gray, right, they won't talk to you for a week. So you start with something neutral, glass of water. So do you want a nut? Yes. Do you want a glass of water? Probably not. So that's where they learn no.
Wow. You want to do your Commboard?
Okay. Okay, so we're ready, I think.
Great.
Are you guys seeing this?
Yeah, we are.
We see
Okay,
Jonathan, a gray, and a very big cage and a Commboard.
Perfect. And this gray is Cookie.
And he's not sure about the camera. So what we're also going to do is set up Little Lou.
Cookie, we're gonna film you. Is that okay? Would you like to be on the movie, Cookie? He's thinking about it.
Play some music. Swap over to Little Lou.
Okay. And here comes Little Lou, our Senegal. I think, can you see him?
Yeah, we can see.
Awesome. Here he is.
You want to make music?
Do you have a- You want a treat? I can give you a treat.
Yeah, did you ask little Lou whether he wanted to actually play?
Well, he climbed up.
We do.
So-
Okay.
And normally we do. That's a really good point. Yes, that's right.
Gonna play music? Yeah.
Good. Yeah, that's cheap. Good. Yeah, it's a little weird with video, as you are probably guessing.
It's also a different time of day than we usually do. This is nap time.
Mm.
I think Cookie might be going to his. There we go. There we go. Okay, and then
So
here's
Cookie is
Cookie.
really into this program. This is basically a skills program. Up here, that's right up top. It's hard to see, but this is the beginnings of tracing letters. Yes, good. That's right. So he's having to draw first a line down and then a line across. Yeah, you're drawing lines.
Yeah, this is an intermediate level.
Good.
Is the sound off on that?
Slow. So I don't know if you can see, he's using his tongue. Can you zoom in?
I can't, not when I'm in this position.
Okay, good job. Yeah.
You can hear Little Lou in the
Little
background.
Lou's still playing music and hoping that we'll notice. You're doing great too, little dude. Good job. All right, I'm gonna leave Cookie here and go back to my.
Okay, I'll stay here and show them when they can show up.
Perfect.
Yes, want to do that.
Okay, now, oh, Beth just moved back to Little Lou, who is playing. When you're looking at Cookie, you could see that there was a plus sign on the screen. And yeah, whoever said taking videos is the way to get your birds to be quiet is absolutely right. So Cookie really wanted to work on these lines. You can kind of see at this distance that only the bottom part of the plus sign is still white because he has been coloring in the line at the top. And so this is new. He just in the past 2 weeks learned first the physical skill for vertical lines, and then horizontal lines is a different physical skill. But this is something he wants to do. Hey, Cookie, you're doing great. Let's see. Yeah, free concert, exactly.
He's hearing your voice and trying to listen to you.
Good, Cookie. You're drawing lines.
He's Patty on the phone.
Yeah.
Good job, little guy. You ready for a treat now?
So live without a net parrot radio. Little Lou is back on xylophone. So he's having a lot of, Little Lou really enjoys the music program. Cookie does music program. He's been really working this line stuff is more hard work. It's physical skills training. And I think I'm gonna unpin this now and come back to a couple of other things more generally. So there we go. Yes, grays have muscular necks, but we're seeing, you know, cockatiels and cockatoos. Again, the bird who is best at tracing is the little Goffin's cockatoo, Ellie. And, you know, she's doing circles and spirals and all kinds of cool stuff. Let's see what else we've got. So this is kind of where we're at right now. The different birds are in different places on their learning journey. They're all learning about matching. And we have played, you know, one game of Go Fish with them so far. And that was fun. We've been
also the Hanukkah party and the
right.
The pumpkin carving.
Right. So we had topic enrichment. So we had a Halloween party where we carved a pumpkin and everybody got to taste pumpkin. And that was really one of the things that really nailed big and little, because there was a big pumpkin and a little pumpkin that they could see. We have been celebrating Hanukkah, so our birds now know what's a menorah and what's a dreidel and what's a latke, and that a menorah is not a, you know, is this a latke? No, this is a menorah. That's pretty cool. And we played a simple game of dreidel with them and they thought that was really cool. Okay, someone asked, what's the name of the app? That's called Xylophun, I think. It's a xylophone app. And it's got the colored keys, which is their favorite, and then it has a marimba skin as well with a different tone. So again, the foundations of what we're doing is coming from this group called Parrot Kindergarten, led by Jen Kunha. There's parrotkindergarten.com where you can see a lot of this. And there's also the Parrot Kindergarten Facebook groups. There are a couple of groups. And the changes we're seeing in our birds is really amazing.
It's incredible.
We've always known the value of training. And of course, all the training is purely positive reinforcement, right? I can't stress that enough. And it has to be
no
fun.
punishment.
When Molly was not interested in the tablet at all. And one day early on, it had been a long day and I'd hurt my back and I wasn't feeling really great. And I just didn't have the energy to interact with the birds very much. in our usual way. So I said, well, it can still have a little bit of dad time. And Molly was sitting on my hand, and we'd just gotten the tablet, and I opened up this anti-stress app, it's called. It's a great app. And I found a game, and I thought, this is probably too advanced for her, but it's amusing to me, little fish going by in an aquarium, and if you touch them, they dart off screen. And Molly was just like, wow, what is that? And I showed it to her, and she started touching the fish and making them dart off screen. And within a couple of minutes, she went from never having done a pressure touch on the screen to, kind of playing the game in hard mode. And it was really cool. Where do you suggest we start if we wanted to do this with our birds? I would go to parrotkindergarten.com, and feel free to ask Beth and I stuff as well. We are simply students on the path as well, and have found this resource to be really helpful.
We're on the discuss list, so if you can't find out our email, we can just send a thing out and discuss, and we'll find you.
Right, and we're talking about Mickaboo Discuss, just to...
Yes, Mickaboo Discuss. Thank you. Thank you.
Obviously, this is so much to offer for fostered and adopted birds. Do the birds learn from each other? The birds check each other out and watch each other. What I mostly see is them watching each other, like really excited. Is it my turn yet? Is it my turn yet? But sometimes you watch them, and again, I'm ascribing motive a little bit, but I sometimes think I see I could do that. That's easy. In the birds, and then they want to try that particular app or toy. So there's the model rival technique of training that they used with Alex.
Thank you, my name fried, Alex. It does work with them, but we're not trying to make anyone into rivals. We're all sort of, let's do this together. So when we play Go Fish, we all win. When we play games of any type, we all win, and everybody gets to celebrate. So everything's really positive. So there's not really a rival, but they learn from each other by just watching.
How much patience do you have to do all of this?
Not much.
I am not the most patient person in the world, trust me.
No, and Jonathan has no time, absolutely no time. I mean, I'm lucky if I get him for 10 minutes a day. And really, it's 3 to 5 minutes once a day.
We try to do 10 minutes a day with the birds just because they're doing so much. And it's become part of our pre-bedtime routine.
Yeah.
But the patience part is not having expectations, but just letting it be fun. I know that, for example, if I'm feeling like Cookie has been working on drawing lines, and this is a this week example, right? For long enough that it's cutting into another bird's time, and I start feeling anxious for him to finish, right? That's not as good a learning environment, and it's less fun for either of us. When I relax and go, okay, either he's going to finish or we'll just stop here, it goes much better. Can we start a group? Heck yeah, we can start a group. Again, there's already a group started. They love their song at bedtime. It would be easy to add a book. I was amazed at how much the birds like being read to, and Molly in particular. She just loves to sit on my hand, and we'll pick out stuff, you know, touch the koala bear. Where's the kitty? Where are the words? And from that, I expect that in the next weeks or months, we'll be identifying individual words as well in the books. And that's really amazing. You know, Molly went from, she's not the smartest of grays. Does she have a problem? Maybe a cognitive problem? To, holy smokes, where has this brilliant bird been hiding?
Yeah. They were still blown away.
Yeah. And, you know, little Lou, who's just all energized and silly, but his ability to retain, you know, we haven't done colors for a long time, but in preparation for this, because we thought we might do it today, and I forgot, you know, I started doing colors, we touch red, touch green, touch blue, are blue and yellow a match? He was on top of it completely. He's just retained all of that. So we are just about out of time. I again want to encourage people to do positive reinforcement training with your birds in whatever way you can. It's going to be rewarding. If you're interested more in this type of training, you know, Parrot Kindergarten is the place to start. We are happy to be resources along that journey. And lastly, we just feel so blessed to be part of Mickaboo and the amazing work that we all do as an organization, fostering and adopting birds. So since it's the holiday fundraising drive, I'm happy to remind us all that this is a great time to donate and or buy cool things at the auction, which is also
Which is only a short time left.
Yep.
Yep, only 15 minutes approximately. So yeah, get your bids in, you know, check out what you've favorited and maybe not have put a bid on because it's gonna go going.
And thank you all for bearing with the difficult technicalities of that we encountered once in a while, working live with birds
Yeah.
that aren't performing birds. But
Yeah.
they're happy.
I'd like to just close for myself. I mentioned Ellie. It's my favorite Ellie video. We don't have it here. She opened up the Commboard to music, to Beethoven symphonies, to Beethoven Symphony number 9. Then backed out of it all and asked for a cup of tea as well. And waited for her order to come, and it did. And then she sat there listening to the music, and this can go anywhere. I have no idea where this could go. I joke that Ellie's going to be president in 20 years or something, but the reality is that this is, I mean, I want to do it with the cats and the dogs. I want to do it with, I mean, they're doing it everywhere now. And it's so exciting to learn what these little people have to say.
Yeah.
So that's my close.
Yeah.
I'm just so excited and grateful that I can do this.
Thank you all.